Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Tracy with Artful Creations by Tracy. I am back with a design team project for tailor-made cards for you, and this month's theme is One Lucky Day. I invite you to visit Tailor-Made Cards for You's blog and enter this month's challenge. This month's prize is a $10 gift code from Tailor-Made Cards for You. You will also find a discount code there for 20% off your digital order, also from Tailor-Made Cards for You. I will have all the links below, including all those I used for today's project. And as you see, for today's project, I will be making 4 cards. We have several other design team members that are making some beautiful projects as well, and I will link their channels down below and hope that you will also check them out. We have a lot of talent on this design team. I will be using 2 of the digital images from Tailor-Made Cards for You. I believe it comes with 4 or 5. The first one is already sized to the A2 card backgrounds. The next one is the Oh Lucky Day ephemera, and I will be using all but 2 on that sheet. I also will be using cream colored cardstock as well as card bases to build my cards on. And I picked up an adorable St. Patrick's Day stamp set from Colorado Craft Company. I will also be using embellishments that I've had in my stash forever. Tim Holtz Distressed Inks and Crushed Olive and Peeled Paint, Intense Black Ink from Simon Says Stamps, and a homemade glitter / shimmery spray. I will also bring in some clovers that I cut out from my Cricut using the Cricut brand green foil poster board. Now I did cut everything off camera and will begin my card making. For the most part, my card making is just how I want to layer them up. I like a lot of dimension, but for some reason I decided not to do that with these. As per my usual, I love to ink my papers, and instead of using the foam brush on my first 3 cards, I take the ink pad directly to the paper. This look is more stark rather than subtle, and it's not a hard technique to do. You can either be heavy or light-handed depending on the look you're trying to achieve. Because my method for the first 3 cards are basically the same, I'll add music to this and come back for my last card. I decided to cut out some of this last card because it was pretty much just repetitive, as you see, and I didn't want this video to take forever. And so I'm just ending up with my little embellishments on this card, and we'll call that one done. Now, the last card that I'm going to be making, I did decide that since it's going to be a landscape rather than portrait, I'm also going to use the blending brush to make the ink more softer, a more softer, you know, sort of like subtle look to it. And when I am inking those edges of that card base, you see me tapping the brush off on my clear mat there. That is so that I don't get a dark blob in one area of the card base. It makes it all nice and smooth and very equal, I guess. It's probably not really a crafty term, but in any event, I've gotten enough blobs on my card bases in an area, and it just doesn't always look right. So that technique has been around for a while. Just wipe it off on your mat. And after I do that, I'm going to glue down my base, or I'm in the background to my base, and then the little clover swooshy ephemera that I'm going to adhere to that. I decide to just trim off those little edges. Instead of having those corners look sharp, they're just going to be blunted, and I really liked how that turned out. And then of course I ink up all my ephemera as well. Now I did decide that I wanted to adhere that clover swooshy to my card base with brads. I love brads, and I have probably a zillion, and I love it when I use stuff from my stash. And if you're not familiar with brads, I do have a Throwback Thursday technique video about brads. I'd love for you to check that out. And speaking of my Throwback Thursday videos, I really do hope to be doing some very soon. I know I haven't done any since maybe November. It's been a very slow start to my year, trying to get back into the groove of things. So please stay with me, and I hope to have more of those Throwback Thursday techniques. Maybe I can squeeze one in for this week. We'll see. Anyway, the tools that you saw me use, that big pad, that thick foam pad, that's perfect for taking a pokey tool. Yes, a pokey tool is the technical term. No, actually the technical term is a piercing tool. And any piercing tool will do. You just poke it right through, and then you can put your brads in. And it's always important to make sure when you're using brads that you're putting it where you can hide them after you attach them to your card base, because you don't want to adhere your card base to your card and then use a brad, if you understand what I mean. That way it's hidden behind there and it doesn't poke through your card. All right, and then as you saw, with that butterfly, I did the same technique with my other card. You're going to just bend those wings upward to give it more of dimension. Like I said, I love dimension, and I didn't do a lot of dimension with these cards, so that really helped with adding dimension. Now, I also want to say this is the very first time I have ever in my life made St. Patrick's Day cards. I might have a little Irish in me. I don't really know, but I've never had a need to make them. However, I do live in a pretty Irish town, and so I have some cards at the card shop, and I'm going to share them with them. So let's see how they go. And for our last step, we're just going to add that homemade shimmer spray to a couple of cards that I chose to do so. I will also link the video down below from a YouTube person that I found that made this homemade shimmer spray. It's so easy to do and very inexpensive, as are those 3-pack of Ranger bottles. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.